If you're looking for value every single turn, you're going to get it from these Magic the Gathering cards. We're going to look at today's card by Anna. I might not make it to the show, so please look at the Mask of Intolerance. It's a 2-mana artifact, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, if there are 4 or more basic land types among lands that player controls, Mask of Intolerance deals 3 damage to him or her. Sounds like you gotta have... Is this punishing the Omnath player? There are 4 or more basic land types. It's great that they put basic land types. This card was printed back in like 2001, and they had the foresight that there might be things like triomes and like more shock lands. Maybe there'll even be like a 4 or 5 type land. Could be right around the corner. They might make like a sort of a City of Brass that has all basic land types, but it comes into play tapped with like 3 stun counters and everything. And whenever it untaps, it bolts you or something like that. Who knows? Mask of Intolerance. Sounds actually pretty sick for a monocolor deck versus a bunch of greedy commander decks. Next, we got Rakdos with the super chat. Thanks so much for your super chat, Rakdos. Good old favorite of mine, the Teferi's Puzzle Box. We are looking for cards that'll get you... I don't know if it's always going to be value, but it's going to do something every turn. Teferi's Puzzle Box is a 4-mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts the cards in their hand on the bottom of their library in any order, then draws that many cards. Strange card. Life is like a hand of the Teferi's Puzzle Box. You never know what you're going to get. Every single turn, in fact. How's the Great White North, bro? Not very white, to be honest. It's summer. All the snow has melted in the grand scheme of things. Toilet Duck with, what is this, Thalys? Well, you know what? Before we go any further, I forgot. Teferi's Puzzle Box is almost a combo with, what is it, Narset? Narset screws you over. However, this is definitely a combo lock card, hence why so many people love it for the jank, also love it for the synergy. That's with other cards. Okay, Reverent Medium. Reverent Medium. What is this? Thalys. Reverent Medium is a 5-mana 3/4 human cleric at the beginning of each end step. All right, so not the upkeep, not the combat step. We're looking at the end step now. Create X 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. Oh, so a little difficult to pull off, because even if it's going to be somebody else's turn, you got to put tokens in play. You put no tokens in play, you don't get any tokens. All right. You got to put in some work to get some work, or get some value. You got to put up something yourself first, though. Fin Grinder, primarily Underworld Dreams. Underworld Dreams, black enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player. I was about to say, like, this thing black, as an end and enchantment reminded me of Necropotence. And this doesn't do anything to Necropotence. Strange that because Necropotence doesn't draw cards, it just puts them directly into their hand. But it is an interesting card. This is like, what is this, Bowmasters before a Bowmasters existed? So at some point, maybe around the 2019-2020 era, Wizards is like, we got to punish this card draw out here. People can't be just drawing cards for free. No, if you draw cards, you're actually going to get punished for it. And it's only when an opponent draws a card, even for their draw step. Should have been like if they draw a card at all. Brainstorms beware. Underworld Dream's going to get you. Phil Goad. Oh, there's a super chat. Rakdos over super chatted. Phil Goad, you get a super chat. What's your thing, Phil Goad? Magmatic Force. This is a lot of mana. This is 8 mana for a 7/7 elemental. At the beginning of each upkeep, Magmatic Force deals 3 damage to any target. Not bad. You get a lightning bolt every single turn. This guy reminds me of that monster on the ship. I don't remember. It's a video game where you're trying to dodge a monster, and there's like 3 of them, And one of them looks like a bunch of lava, in my opinion. This guy reminds me of that monster. But I don't remember what the game is called. Somebody out there probably does. I watched a few streams of that game. No, not God of War. It's about you're on a ship, and the ship you have to get off the game. Sorry, you have to get off the ship before this monster comes and kills you. A video game with monsters really narrows it down. It's a ship, okay? And the ship is like abandoned in the middle of nowhere. And you randomly get one of 3 monsters on your ship, and they all have different traits. You got to get off the ship before that monster finds you. Dark Confident disqualified. That's only your upkeep. It does not trigger on the opponent's upkeep. We want every turn, including your opponent's. Every turn is very, very important. Toads with Nekusar. The Mind Razor. Necroson the Mind Razor is a 5-mana 2/4. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. I'd like to say I'm a little generous. Look, I'm giving gifts to everybody here. When I'm around, everybody's happy. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Nekusar, the Mind Razor, deals 1 damage to that player. I don't know what the lore is around that. I guess I'm gifting them poison. It's basically gold, radioactive gold. This guy loves wheels. This guy loves wheels. It's effectively another Bowmasters. How many Bowmasters are in this game? Again, another card in the 2020s. We're in the 2020 era. Are we actually talking about triggers, or can it grant value each turn? It's gotta trigger each turn. So it's got to be some sort of trigger, not necessarily value. It's got to be a trigger. Christopher B with Citadel of Pain. I mean, if you have something that like taps, untaps every turn for some reason, okay, maybe make the argument. I'm trying to find something that gives value every single turn that it's in play. Citadel of Pain is a 3-mana enchantment at the end of each player's turn. Citadel of Pain deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of untapped lands he or she controls. It's not useless. The card basically says tap all your lands every turn. Don't be doing anything on my turn. It really screws over the counter. It just taxes the counterspell player a little bit more than they normally would be taxed. So, when I leave my 2 blue untapped at end of turn and take my 2 damage, I wonder what that means. Could be anything, all right? Maybe it's boomerang, people. Okay, Fire is going to try to make an argument. Heliod, the Radiant Dawn, or rather the backside. Okay, let's see what the backside is. We're going to transform them. Heliod, the Warped Eclipse is a 4/6. You may cast flash spells as though they had flash. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. Do you know what? I'm going to say it's disqualified. I'll tell you why. They're not guaranteed to have drawn a card on your turn. So you actually don't get the value on your turn. You get the value on every other turn, disqualified for the reasons you probably didn't expect. Okay, apparently this Hokori Dusk Drinker is super big. Hokori Dusk from Gilliam. Hokori! What is it? Hokori... Oh, Dust. Sorry, Dust. Drinks the dust. Sounds terrible. This is a 4-mana 2/2 nightmare of a picture. Lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps a land they control. How nice! I have created the solution to the problem that I have created for you. You should be grateful that I played the Hokori Dust Drinker. Drink that dust down. It's good for you. Dust Drinker is decent in EDH. Oh yeah, it looks great. It's like what's it called? It's like a Rising Waters in white for the most part. I'm guessing he just likes what it can do each turn. It's basically like but anyway, we're looking for cards They do something every turn. Not necessarily even anything good. Could be bad. Citadel of Pain, but you also run Winter Orb. Oh, that is a great combo. That's an annoying combo. Toads with the super chat. Underworld Dreams does not trigger on your turn if you own it. Hold on, but that doesn't sound good. Underworld. Oh, we're talking. We already did this card. So whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 That's true. Oh, this actually got disqualified. I didn't notice that. It's like almost every turn. You know what? I still appreciate the Underworld Dreams was here. You know what? Okay, so we're gonna. No, thank you very much for letting us know that, Toads. And you know what? I'm not gonna count that as a dono my super. Oh, I'm definitely donoing the super. You didn't even give me a reliable card here. You're just pointing something out. We're gonna give it to Benny with Baleful Force. An 8-mana 7/7 elemental. No one got that last card. I mean, what the monster that I was talking about. Anyway, 8-mana 7/7. At the beginning of each upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. I'm gonna look this up. Monster on ship. You trying to get off? No, oh my God. On ship. Oh, it's literally called Monstrum. That's the name of the game I was thinking of. Anyway, this monster is not on Monstrum. At the beginning of each upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. You're going to accelerate how much life you lose, but you're going to accelerate how many cards you draw. All you need is something that lets you gain life for all your cards, and you're in business, baby. No, it's not still. It's a game called Monstrum, so not Monster, Monstrum. Never played the game myself. And apparently nobody else here, because no one guessed it. All right, next we've got another super chat from Toads. We're going to give it to Bab. How do you like that, Bab? Braids Cabal Minion. This card was banned because it did something every turn. 4-mana 2/2. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. Does this card not look so goofy for being banned in the past? I remember so many people said, you can never unban this card. It's too unfun and unfair. Like, it's too devastating. People said turn 2 Braids Cabal Minion was too strong for EDH. And you could get it out easily on turn 2. You know, Swamp, Soul Ring, turn 2 Braids Cabal Minion, and that was basically GG. Has it turned into like is that what Commander is right now, or is it like just doesn't matter? Game changers, man. Is it even a game changer? I assume. Okay, Rakdos has heard of Monstrum. I remember never having heard of it. Oh, what? She's hella annoying. Braids Cabal Minion was in that pressure cooker pre-con deck for which you could get them easily in the early 2000s. It's an old card. Super old card. Just kill it. It's a 2/2. Believe it or not, Ghost of Thomas Jenkins. Just like some people don't believe in ghosts, some people don't believe in removal. Like, they just don't have it. Like Lightning Bolt, Swords to Plowshares. What are you going to use that for? Well, you never know. For a Braids Cabal Minion. I can even see another argument. Some people might not like spot removal because why waste it on a commander when it's just going to come back anyway? But I mean, you got to slow them down one way or another. It's a tempo player. It's a tempo play. Some players don't want to commit crimes. People trying to have a clean criminal history. Hard to have removal when your lands are getting removed. Oh, come on. There's a lot of what. Every color has like some sort of 1-mana removal. You know, red has Lightning Bolt. White has Swords to Plowshares and Path to Exile. Black has Fatal Push. Green has nothing. Okay, maybe green is, but green has Ramp. All right, so even if they're losing a land, they're still gaining a land somewhere else. And blue just counters it for free. Okay, you got Subtlety, Force of Will, and everything. and so on and so on. There's a million removal spells to kill your braids, and you can get them all at fusiongamingonline.com, my favorite place to get my Magic the Gathering cards. There's new removal spells coming out of the Hobbits, and also many that came out in Marvel Superheroes. Get your removal spells and more. And if you want to support the channel, which I know you all do, you're all super excited for it, I got a deal for you. Use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And of course, it supports the channel. Why else would I tell you all? Love fusiongamingonline.com. All right, next up. David with Mesmeric Orb. Mesmeric, you know, technically you can play around this. Yeah, you can. 2-mana artifact. Whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that player's controller mills a card. I don't see this card seeing a whole lot of play anymore. I used to see this all the time in mill decks, but I think at some point the mill decks are like, might be helping my opponent with this card, because you are voluntarily helping them fill their graveyard. And they know there's just not a lot of decks out there that don't use their graveyard. Mill is a very double-edged strategy. If you mill them, you gotta mill them super dead. But yeah, Mesmeric Orb. Good stuff. We have another super chat from Raktus. Thanks so much for your super chats, Raktus. Another old favorite of mine to show the kind of decks that I used to play, the Dreamborn Muse. I have never seen this card before. Is the card wearing clothes? Or is like the skin in the shape of clothes? Do you guys know what I'm talking about here? Like, I can't tell if this person's actually wearing clothes that has the exact same skin tone as their pale blue skin tone, or if they're naked. If they're like technically naked. There are no clothes on this character. Shouldn't you use rest in peace effects in mill decks to get around fueling graveyard decks? Well, now you're making Steve Cooper, you could be right, but holy crap, you're making it complicated. It's a dream. Oh, that's why it's the Dreamborn Muse. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts the top X cards of their library into the graveyard, where X is the number of cards in their hand. Sounds like it's a combo with Mesmeric Orb. Or maybe not with Mesmeric. No, yeah, it could be a combo with Mesmeric Orb. Because with Mesmeric Orb, you don't want to play your cards, because then you have to tap permanents, your lands. But then if you have Dreamborn Muse out, I mean, you're just double screwed. You either play your cards to play around Dreamborn Muse, but then you get smacked by the Mesmeric Orb. Fire wants redemption. Teferi, Master of Time. Ah, that's a creative one. This is, you may activate loyalty abilities Master of Time on any player's turn anytime you could cast an instant. Okay, it's technically still not a trigger. But okay, so like Fire is trying really hard to find something that's technically not part of the show, but sort of feels like it. This is probably a good example because you basically activate this thing every single turn. You activate an ability. You go +1, -3, or -10 on everybody's turn. You're essentially ticking up the loyalty. It's almost like +4, draw 4 cards, discard 4 cards. Basically. Oh, we got hold on. Raktus delivered $5. With that, we are going to donate the other half to Kano. Mornsong Aria. Come on, we need to see what's happening here. Mornsong Aria, 3-mana enchantment. Players can't draw cards or gain life. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, searches their library for a card, and puts it into their hand. Then they gotta shuffle. Tutors for all. Don't cheat! Just play Mornsong Aria. Some people shuffle cheat cards on top of their deck. Some people says, okay, you can have whatever you want. Is this card fun to play with? Oh, I see. The problem with this thing is that the player loses 3 life. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player loses 3 life, but they look for any card that they want. They should push the limits of this card. They should just, it's 3 mana, and you get to just draw whatever you want. And we just see what happens, all right? The game will come down to like the highest level of skill possible. It's just every single turn you got the exact card that you want, and it's like a massive slugfest. You never flood out, you never get mana screwed. We need the mega Morn Song Aria. Who's with me here? And you're always the last to tutor? Yeah, you are. Unless you play the Morn Song Aria at flash speed somehow. Anything is possible. Your opponents get the benefit first. The problem for this, if they search removal, you get nothing. I guess removal with value too. Next we got with Lessian. Let's go Cheering Crowd. Cheering Crowd. 2 mana 2/2. At the beginning of each player's first main phase, that player may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. If they do, they add a colorless for each counter on it. This card is like chaotic. It's like whoever does it first is stupid because they get like the least value. Give you they create the least value and they just start the snowball. I think the correct thing to do is to do nothing. Oh, but then it comes around to you, and you have no reason. No, but if you start it though, if you're the first person to play the +1/+1 counter, then you at least give the next person sort of a free like soul land of mana. Anyway, it's an interesting card. Seems like a very interesting political card. Steve Cooper, Rite of the Raging Storm. What if we gave the table knives and get 3 free creature die triggers per turn? Let's see what happens. It's a 5 mana enchantment. Creatures named Lightning Rager can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player creates a 5/1 red elemental creature token named Lightning Rager. It has trample haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this creature. Oh, it's basically a ball lightning. So everyone gets a ball lightning every single turn. Not exactly ball lightning, but pretty damn close. Or close enough, I would say. What if everyone got a free ball lightning every turn? What would they do? It's not even goated. They can send it all at you, right? Each player upkeep, that player creates a 5/1. Yeah, they can do whatever they want with it. Free donation. You donate a ball lightning to everybody. Next we got John with Happy Tuesday, the Dimensional Breach. It's a 7 mana sorcery. How the hell does this trigger every turn? Removal permanents from the game. As long as any of those cards remain removed from the game at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player returns one of the removed cards he or she owns to play. So, shouldn't this be an enchantment? So what is this? Like, exile all permanents. For as long as those cards remained exiled, you get to play them. This is a very odd card where there is a certain range of exiled cards in the exile zone that you got to remember that you can play every single turn. It's very unusual. I feel like they might make They don't make stuff like that these days. How did this not show up on the Scourge show? We just did a Scourge show. Strange stuff. Mercenary with Blood Clock. Blood Clock is a 4 mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player returns a permanent he or she controls to its owner's hand, unless he or she pays 2 life. Oh my god! So you get... If you build around this card properly, I think people will willingly put their cards back into their hand to re-get more ETBs. We live in an ETB world. I mean, very early on in the game, no one wants to bounce stuff back to their hand, but later on in the game, and I imagine this is when it's going to be played, everyone wants to bounce stuff back to the hand. Pay the 2? Yeah, do you want to pay the 2? 2 life, that is. Next we got Rugal. Possessed Portal. Is it a Minecraft portal? It is. It's an 8 mana artifact. If a player would draw a card, that player skips that draw instead. Okay, then what am I drawing? At the end of each turn, each player sacrifices a permanent unless he or she discards a card from his or her hand. What? If a player would draw a card, that player skips that draw instead. So what, we're not drawing cards at all anymore? The end of each turn, each player sacrifices a permanent unless he or she discards a card from his or her hand. Oh, so the idea is there is a point where you would have to sacrifice this permanent. So you want to be the person with a lot of cards in hand or a lot of permanents in play. All matter and sanity is sucked into the portal until you sacrifice the portal itself. Yeah, I was like, doesn't this just lock the game and you win? And maybe it does. Like, you could just count up the permanents and realize, all right, no one can attack into each other, and the game is going to stall, but I have more permanents than everyone else, so I basically win from there. Yeah, nobody gets to draw until you sacrifice this, but you have to keep feeding permanents to it. But it's at the end of each turn, each player sacks a permanent. So, I mean, everyone's getting nailed here. Okay, Lucas, can we put up Hakball? I don't know if this triggers every turn. It's my favorite commander. He does trigger, but not on everyone's turn. The beginning of combat on your turn, each merfolk creature you control explores. When he attacks, you blah 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 blah. Sorry about that. Disqualified. May also choose another card. I know there's a lot of Hackball fans out there. I'm a fan of Hackball myself, but it's got to trigger every turn. We got Blinksomniac with Paradox Haze. We be hazing. 3 mana aura enchant player. At the beginning of enchanted player's first upkeep each turn, that player gets an additional upkeep after this upkeep. Also doesn't trigger every turn, right? It's just it just triggers once per turn. And on the player that this is enchanted. Toads, you didn't get a card yet. Winter Orb. This is actually trigger. Winter Orb, 2 mana artifact. As long as Winter Orb is untapped, players can't untap more than 1 land during their untap steps. Technically doesn't trigger. Although I don't know if I should allow too many of these. I'll sort of allow this. It's like, it doesn't trigger, but it does affect the game every single turn. It does, I will admit, it affects the game every single turn. Hexenort with Desecration Demon. Desecration Demon, a 4 mana 6/6 flying. At the beginning of each combat, any opponent may sacrifice a creature of their choice. If a player does, tap this creature and put a +1/+1 counter on it. Oh yeah, every single combat. If I want to attack, you can sack a creature. If you want to attack me, you can sacrifice a creature. If it's already tapped, it will still trigger. You have the option to tap it again. If anything, this might be the sack outlet for somebody else for free, for the most part. Jess needs one. Where's Jess? Where's our good old buddy Jess around here? I don't see Jess, actually. Oh, here's Jess. People that play cards like that die first. What are you talking about? Okay, I don't know what his card was. I'm gonna go with Gabe. The Illustrious Wonderglyph. This is a 5 mana 2/2 golem. Ascend. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing for the rest of the game. Other artifact creatures you control get +2/+2 as long as you have the city's blessing. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature token. Frankly, I find that is very underwhelming. The only good part, though, is if you have the city's blessing, you do get a big, beefy board of millions of creatures. But I'll tell you what's even more beefy than this card. The value you get from Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards for the digital client Magic Online, where you can play all your favorite paper format forms of Magic digitally, whether it be Pauper, Standard, Pioneer, Modern. You can play Commander. You can play one-on-one, competitive, casual, CEDH 4-player. You can play casual 4-player, and you can play every deck when you rent with Mana Traders. Use coupon code Nikachu_AOY for 40% off. Cash back on your 3rd month subscription. Chubby Meatball, you want to be part of the show? Chubby Meatball! Cat is yelling. My cat is I think my cat wants to go outside. Can't let her outside because I'm on the top floor of a condo building. We got a super chat here from Little MX Doom. Benny Brax, zoologist. Benny Brax. Chubby Meatball! Come! Come! Get over here. No, she doesn't want to. She's probably yelling. She's just yelling at the door. Let me out. I want her to be part of the show, but she never likes to be part of the show. Benny Brax, zoologist, a 4-mana 3/2 with Convoke. At the beginning of each end step, if you created a token this turn, draw a card. Okay, but okay, how do you make tokens every single turn? Who's doing that out there? So we've had 2 cards where if you like make a token, you get another token. Is there anything out there that's like generating tokens at instant speed? I mean, maybe there's some instant speed. There's I can think of a few instant speed token generators, but not that many. If you do it with this, you get some cards. With another one of these cards, obviously. Put the grease pen by the mic. Chubby Meatball will be, absolutely, yes. We've caught her licking out of that grease pan. Does Sliver Queen trigger every single turn? Sliver Queen. No, this does not trigger. This is an activated ability. Not trigger. Disqualified. Previous card, Illustrious Wandergriff. What? Yeah, this is. What about it? You have something that you don't like it? You have some problem with it? Next we got David with Tangle Wire. Oh my god. This card is a nightmare. 3-mana artifact, fading 4. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player taps an untapped artifact, creature, or land they control for each fade counter on Tangle Wire, until there are none left in the deck. Oh, you're talking about how a token made oh, I got it. So the Illustrious Wanderglyph combos with the Sliver Queen. That is a very depressing combo. But it works. Technically it works. It's like they're just. Did they really have Sliver Queen in mind when they made this thing? Sounds very narrow. Hold on, I gotta grab my cat. Hold on. You're gonna make too much noise. You gotta be part of the show. You gotta be part of the show. If you're gonna make so much noise, you gotta be part of the show. This is Chubby Meatball. This is Chubby Meatball. Chubby Meatball doesn't like being part of the show, honestly, because the lights and how loud I am. But she wants to go outside very badly. Don't go anywhere. Don't go. Stay. I maybe will encourage her to be quiet. No! What are you... Well, it's hard to do the show and grab her at the same time. I did my best. Summon 124C with Verdant Force. Would you shut up? It's not increasing her chances of going outside. What's Chubby Meatball's stats? She is a 0. She's probably like a 1/2 with haste. With cowardice. I don't know how to put I don't know how to explain cowardice, but like when something enters the battlefield, she's gonna leave. Verdant Force, an 8-mana 7/7 elemental. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. Oh, we found another card! The token generators that combo with the glyph thing. Marcio, do we count cards like Mana Flare? Well, I'll find out in a minute. No one has ever refused free mana. Mana Flare is a 3-mana enchantment. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of that type to his or her mana pool. Is that a trigger? Like, does this trigger? Like, in theory, it can help every turn, but I don't think this is a trigger. I can't allow cards. I don't know how many cards are like this out there. That's like saying some static effect is worth something every turn. We're looking at triggers, though. Today is a trigger day. Although it does say whenever. It did say when. This is a triggered mana ability. Then it counts! Okay, take it back. It just doesn't use the stack. Okay, I'm gonna trust Christopher B over here. Christopher B is a super, super smart person. Mr. Stiff Pickles, did I miss your super chat? No, you're just in line. You see all these? There's a lot of super chats in line. You're gonna wait, Mr. Stiff Pickles. So slow down. Next up, we got, then I do super chat freebie. Super chat freebie. The freebie right now, Felicia. Bolg! Erebur's Reckoning? Who the hell is Bolg? This guy's Bolg. This is a 6-mana 6/6 Goblin Soldier with Trample. At the beginning of each combat, other goblins and orcs you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Good God. At the beginning of each combat? At the beginning of... so basically, nothing that's a 1 toughness creature is allowed to live on the battlefield. It will be perished for forever. You put a -1/-1 on... Sorry, you put a 1 toughness creature on the battlefield, it's dead instantly. Well, I would... Maybe not at the beginning of combat. It can live as long as your first main phase, and then it's gone. Next up, we got Mr. Stiff Pickles. Karth the Lion. Underrated commander, in my opinion. Search every turn and ultimate every turn with Teferi, Master of Time. Cheaper every turn. This is a 4-mana 3/5. Whenever Karth the Lion enters the battlefield or a planeswalker you control dies, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal a planeswalker card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Planeswalker's loyalty abilities you activate cost an additional +1 to activate. When it enters the battlefield or a planeswalker you control dies, in theory, this could trigger every turn, because in theory, a planeswalker of yours could die every turn. I don't know, I'm really going to buy the argument of the Teferi Master of Time, because it's the Teferi Master of Time. Well, first off, that's it. Teferi Master of Time doesn't even trigger. Anyway, in theory, this could trigger, because a planeswalker could die every turn. And you super chatted, so I'll count it. Super chatters, they get to squeeze by the rules a little bit. Archangel Nu with Azmira, Holy Avenger. Almost looks like an image I would see in a church. This is a 4-mana 2/3. It's been errated to a legendary human cleric. Flying. At the end of each turn, put a +1/+1 counter onto your Azmira. For each creature put into your graveyard from play that turn. Oh, interesting. You know what? You could put other people's stuff into their graveyard, and then this will trigger for your stuff. Not bad. I like it. I like it a lot. Steve Cooper says, how is Teferi in the deck? Is the commander? They aren't in the same color identity. I guess the, what's it called? Karth the Lion is not the commander. It's just a Wooburg. There's a Wooburg commander in the deck. Wooburg. Okay, we got a Blackbird with Gibbering Descent. Gibbering Descent is a 6-mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life and discards a card. Hellbent, skip your upkeep step if you have no cards in hand. Oh, so but then you don't get an upkeep. Some people will take great offense to that. They want their upkeep for good reason, and that's Madness for 4 mana. It's actually cheaper to get to Madness and onto the battlefield quite easily. Next we got who we have here? Steve Cooper. With Celestial Tidal Force / Tidal Force, might as well complete the cycle, and a dono, 1 dono for chat. Okay, let's look at the, what is this, a force cycle? Celestial Force. Oh, these are the elementals? Oh, these are the elementals, all right. Okay, and you want Tidal Force. These have triggers everywhere? Oops, let's go back. Celestial Force is the 8 mana one. That's a 7/7. At the beginning of each upkeep, you gain 3 life. That's insane. Like, I think that is very good value. You're basically gaining 12 life a turn. I think that's good, a pretty damn good cushion. After like 3 turns, you basically have the same amount of life you started with in Commander. Hardest problem is getting this thing in play. But I bet if you get it in play, it'll just stay in play. No one will feel threatened by this. No one feels threatened by life. Does anyone feel threatened by life gain out there? If someone just arbitrarily goes to like 70 life, but their board like has no way of winning or no immediate way of killing you, like, do you care? And also the second force was the Tidal Force. 8 mana for a 7/7 elemental. At the beginning of each upkeep, you may tap or untap target permanent. That feels lame. I don't want to play with this card. Oh, no, hold on. It's at the beginning of each upkeep you may tap. Okay, you know what? That's a lot better. Just keep tapping their best creature as every single turn. No, cause mill. No one's afraid of life gain. Or sorry, the mill players are never afraid of life gain. Rin with Ambassador Blorp. Ambassador Blorp is a 5 mana 3/3. Alien Advisor Guest. When the Blorp enters the battlefield, you get 3 tickets. Then you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you control. The beginning of each combat, you may have Ambassador Blipperty Blorp Boops. Base power and toughness become equal to the total power and toughness of all stickers on permanents you control. This is terrible. I can't even completely fathom what this card does because I don't know how powerful stickers are in general. Rin. Oh, sorry. We did you, Rin. Gotta do some super chat. Little MX Doom. Tataru. Taru? The hell name is that? It's almost as nonsensical as that Blippity Boop name. This is a 2 mana 0/3 dwarf advisor. It's a very cute dwarf. I think of old. Oh, is this an actual dwarf? Yeah, I guess it's a dwarf being an advisor. This is the cutest dwarf I've ever seen. When Taru enters, you may draw a card, and target opponent may draw a card. So, friends, being really friendly around here. Scion's Secretary. Whenever an opponent draws a card, if it isn't that player's turn, create a tap treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. But this doesn't trigger every turn. When it enters, you draw a card to target opponent. That only happens once. Whenever an opponent draws a card, if it isn't that player's turn. See, this doesn't trigger on your turn. Disqualified. You're gonna have to donate that super chat. Do you count these each combat triggers if they all they do is effectively recoup the exact same temporary benefit each turn? What? I don't understand. I will count cards that trigger every single combat. Okay, Voltlin, you get the super chat. Mana cash. Three mana enchantment at the end. I keep saying by default at the beginning. No, this one's at the end. At the end of each player's turn, put a charge counter on mana cash. For each untapped land that player controls, remove a charge counter from mana cash, add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. Any player may play this ability, but only during his or her turn before the end phase. Thanks for the mana, buddies. Thanks for the mana, buddies. Okay, next up we got Lord Jaraxxus, the Unwinding Clock. Unwinding Clock is a 4-mana artifact. Untap all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step. That must be frustrating. Don't people hate these cards? These cards should be banned. Like, it defeats the purpose of you having a turn. There should be only one turn. And this card basically says, oh, there's only the artifacts. Okay, so this is a little bit... It's a little bit cleaner. But if you're playing an artifact deck, it's not clean at all. I mean, there's a lot of artifacts out there. Like, what is it? Like, I could get this out on turn 1, right? Land... Maybe it requires a treasure or something. Or, a Lotus Petal, but Lotus Petal, Mana Vault, Unwinding Clock, unwind my Mana Vault, and so on. Oh no, turn 1, Soul Ring, Mana Vault, Unwinding Clock, GG. I did it. I broke Unwinding Clock. That was very original. I'm the first person who ever thought of that. No one else is as brilliant as I did with that idea. This card is a treasure for Affinity players. No doubt. Unwinding Clock is a little paradox, engine-y, but it's tolerable enough. Oh yeah, it says the person who plays it. You know, it's the oldest story, or it's the oldest tale in Magic the Gathering. The card is perfectly fair and balanced. Says person who owns and plays that card. Always. Especially when you talk about banning cards. The people who will, everyone who owns that card and plays it, they'll just come out like crazy. Fabian, the Lord of Pain. Bringing the pain around here. 5 mana, 5/5 Human Assassin. Menace. Your opponents can't gain life. And whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player. Cast their first spell each turn. Interesting. All right, I can definitely count that. Actually, what's interesting, this can affect every single player every single turn, in theory. Because it affects their first spell each turn. And every next turn could be the first spell each turn. Weirdly enough. Marcio with Scrawling Crawler. This is a 3 mana 3/2 Phyrexian construct. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card. That's nice. Hold on, no, this is only your upkeep. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player loses 1 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws. So this is totally disqualified. Gonna donate your super chat. This show is about triggers every turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get 1 upkeep per rotation. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player loses 1 life. That's only gonna happen. Oh, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Actually, do you know what? This actually might work. So 1/2 will trigger on everybody else's turn. At the beginning, whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 1 life. So, yeah, I just realized that it will... So the second half deals with 3 out of 4 turns. But then the first half deals with 1 out of 4 turns. So it actually does count. Stream is wrong bingo card, yeah. Where's the bingo? Huh? Why? It triggers... You know, I was just looking at the triggers individually, and neither of them, like, trigger every single turn. But if you combine them with their combined force, they actually work. That and Smothering Tithe count so long as there is no possessed portal in play. Orcish Bowmasters. That definitely does not trigger every turn. I mean, it does... technically doesn't trigger every turn. Like, it also, technically, it might not trigger ever. Ever. Next, we got Z-Man Vader with Alexios. Demos Cosmos. 4 mana, 4/4, trample. Alexios Demos of Cosmos attacks each combat if able, can't be sacrificed, and can't attack its owner. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player gains control of Alexios, untaps it, and puts a +1/+1 counter on it. It gains haste until end of turn. Beautiful card. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. We don't have to worry about it, because it ain't gonna attack you, that's for sure. Okay, well, little MX Doom. This better work. Bella Dross Witherbloom. I'll give you a little super chat sound effect. This is a 7-mana 4/4 flyer. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. With when this token dies, you gain 1 life. Pay 10 life, untap all lands you control, and activate only once each turn. So this is another one of those cards that help trigger those other cards. They give you like more tokens if you made the tokens on somebody else's turn, which is hard to do. Hard to do, but making it happen. PDX, Evelyn. The Covenant. There's not many Evelyns out here. I just looked up Evelyn, and this is the only one that popped up. 5 mana 2/4 vampire rogue with flash. Whenever Evelyn, the Covetous is means to covet. I don't ever pronounce this. Or another vampire enters the battlefield under your control. Exile the top card of each player's library with a collection counter on it. Now, once each turn, you may play a card from exile with a collection counter on it if it was exiled by an ability you controlled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. Enters the battlefield under your control. Exile the top card. In theory, I guess this can trigger. Once each turn, you may play... Oh, no, this last ability definitely triggers. So the first ability, it could, in theory, trigger each turn. But once each turn, you may play a card from exile. So you can do that every single turn, no matter what. Covetous, greedy, and envious of material things. She likes gold and silver, probably. I'm getting so many super chats, Benny. I'm up to my ears in super chats, okay? I'm going to get to you guys. In fact, I'm going to get to you immediately. We got Benny with the Grand Melee. Part of my missed combo. Or is it Grand Melee? 4 mana enchantment. All creatures attack each turn if able. All creatures block each turn if able. Disqualified. None of these are triggers. None of them are triggers. I can't. There's a lot of, yeah, the super chats are making it rain. Also, a lot of the super chats are illegal. Yeah, the supers are triggering every turn. Okay, we're going to donate that super chat to Mappius with the Abyss. There's like a million cards out there that trigger every turn. People are giving me like these sort of static effects and so on, or like rules-based cards. I mean, they had, I mean, to credit some of these cards, they have an effect every single turn. The Abyss, 4 mana world enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls of his or her choice. It can't be regenerated. Ha! It's a good thing that there are artifact players. I mean, I guess you play this in an artifact deck. Maybe a mono black artifact deck. So it's like, I love this card. I own an Abyss. You must be the artifact player out there. Bitter Blossom doesn't count. It's your upkeep. It's just your upkeep. It's true. Okay, look. When I mean every turn, I mean every turn of the game, not just yours. It's every turn. That's how it works around here. I don't think Smothering Tithe works on the owner's upkeep, right? Or the owner's draw step, which makes it disqualified. Yeah, I capitalized it in everything. And also a lot of, look at the Abyss at the beginning of each player's upkeep. Every single one of those upkeeps. Stranger Candy with Boros Battle Shaper. Look at this ugly guy. The 7 mana 5/5 Minotaur Soldier. At the beginning of each combat, up to 1 target creature attacks or blocks this combat if able. And up to 1 target creature can't attack or block this combat. That is a sneaky card. That is super sneaky. It's very manipulating. It's very high on the manipulation scale. Like you're like, okay, on this turn, okay, this creature has to attack. Okay, on this turn also, this creature cannot block. Screw your Death Toucher. F that 1/2 Death Toucher. Next we've got. Let's get Cracker Grit. Anyone do Bitter Blossom Bearer or Bitter Blossom? Okay, what does the Bitter Blossom Bearer say? I have a feeling these cards are disqualified. Bitter Bloom Bearer, right? Was it every turn? At the beginning of your upkeep. Your upkeep. How many super chats are going to be thrown into an inferno? Okay, we're going to donate that super chat then to Morgan Audette with the Sire of Insanity. That definitely works. Sire of Insanity, a 6-mana, 6/4. At the beginning of each end step, each player discards his or her hand. We're working on fumes. This is Hellbent the card. This is Hellbent the god. This is the god of Hellbent. Should have been called Sire of Insanity, God of Hellbent. Cracker Grit says Smothering Tithe counts. It's anytime a card is drawn, you get a treasure unless they pay 2. Anytime a card is drawn. Okay, hold on. Let's look at Smothering Tithe. Okay, so for people who call it, whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, you create a treasure token. By default, no one has to draw a card on your turn because it's your turn. So it's only 3 out of 4. I would not count Smothering Tithe. If you super chatted though, I would maybe count it, but probably not. I would still sort of like grimace at you, but I would be very happy that you super chatted. The Big Squig with Havoc Festival. Havoc Festival is a 6-mana enchantment. Players can't gain life. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player loses half of his or her life rounded up. That sounds terrifying. That is bad news. How long do you have to live? 20, 10, 5. Holy moly! Your life goes down fast. This card is like, we're going to end the game super quick around here. Next, we've got... What super chat do we have here? We have Archangel New. Are you like the only person like recommending Optimus Prime? I know, like Optimus Prime ends up being on this show like so unbelievably often, and I'm starting to suspect you're the only person suggesting this card. I'm gonna try to associate Optimus Prime with Archangel New. You know, maybe it's taking me years to get to this point, but I swear to God, it's the same person suggesting this. Like, who cares about this card unless this is like your favorite commander? Optimus Prime Hero with the more than meets the eye converted mana cost. At the beginning of each end step, you do get to bolster 1, which is very nice for the Optimus Prime Hero. And when it dies, return to the battlefield, converted under its owner's control. And it turns into a living metal Optimus Prime Autobot leader, trample, and whenever you attack, bolster 2. The chosen creature gains trample until end of turn, and when that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, convert Optimus Prime. And I guess this just shows up. I guess this card shows up so often on the show because it has so many abilities. It's a 2-sided card. It triggers. It's got cost reduction. Does a whole bunch of stuff. Dude getting ripped for his Optimus Prime. Sorry if it's your commander. I'm like, this card shows up on this show like way higher than like, I don't know, way more often than I think it should. But it ends up showing up all the time. The sad thing for me is I never remember what it does. I just only remember that it's got like a mana cost, like an alternate mana cost, and that's about it. Just call him a need, bro. What is a need? Oh, a nerd. We're all nerds around here. Nerd calling another nerd a nerd sounds very odd. Okay, next we got Kevil with Crested Sunmare. Oh, the Sunmare! And by the way, there's nothing wrong with Optimus Prime. I'm just starting to realize that it might always be suggested by the same person. That's all. I'm just recognizing a pattern. Crested Sunmare is a 5-mana 5/5. Other horses you control have indestructible. At the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, create a 5/5 white horse creature token. Very nice. Arguably the best horse in the entire game. Above and beyond. No horse is better than... I don't know, is there a horse better than this? I don't think so. I think this is the most powerful horse. It should have been all horses are indestructible. At the beginning of the turn, get rid of your Optimus Prime. What is that supposed to mean? Next. Lil MX Doom has a super chat called The Theorist, Jace Bellerin. The Theorist, Jace Bellerin, is a 4-mana 3 loyalty Jace. At the beginning of each opponent's draw step, you draw a card. Is there another trigger that triggers on your turn? +1, create a 1/1 blue illusion creature token. -2, for each opponent, return up to 1 target artifact or creature that player controls to its owner's hand. And -6, draw 3 cards, then put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of cards in your hand. It's like... Lil MX Doom suggested a lot of cards that, like, almost trigger every turn, but don't. Yeah, so close. And Lil MX Doom paid for it. Paid for a lot of these. Trisaro, you get the super chat. I give the super chat to you. Oh, where are you, Trisaro? Necrogen Mists. Necrogen Mists is a 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card from his or her hand. Great for the rack players out there. You need to discard things pronto. Necrogen Mists. Vec with the Sulfuric Vortex. Now that's a card. That'd be wild if we went through this whole show and this card never actually showed up. This is a 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals 2 damage to that player. Good luck dodging that bullet. If a player would gain life, that player gains no life instead. Sorry, life gain players. Screw y'all. It's little Mr. Doom, not MX Doom. You would think that. It's actually, well, I don't know. It's the old handle was little MX Doom. That's like a long time ago. Then one day, like, YouTube forced people to use their usernames, and I don't know why little MX Doom is not changing their username, but I just know historically what the real name was. That's all. Before the YouTube changed to the username, I don't know how to put it. These like YouTube usernames. You laugh, but you still looked at the cards I paid for. I did actually. That is absolutely true. I'm forced to read them. So you are in essence paying for me to read and disqualify the cards anyway. Yeah, so we got Steve Cooper 3000 now. I believe it was just previously just Steve Cooper. Bob Tax Bridge, the Copper Tablet. Copper Tablet, 2-mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, deals 1 damage to that player. 1 damage at a time happens every time. We got another super chat from... I'm gonna have to... Braids Cabal Minion. We did this one already. Should have been kept banned in Commander. Oh, you don't like that card, Marcio? We talked about it for a little bit when it was around, and we had determined like it's just not like it's nothing. Like everyone was afraid of it. It appears that you are still afraid of it. Gotta run more removal, Marcio. You gotta run that spot removal. Indiana Jones with the static orb. Does that trigger every turn though? These orbs. This one might, maybe not. If Static Orb is untapped, players can't untap more than 2 permanents during their untap steps. Not a trigger. It's just that when you get to your upkeep, you're going to decide whether you... it's just that when you get your upkeep, you decide which 2 perms you want to untap, but it's not a triggered ability. How do we get rid of the super chat? This appears to be a very hard show. Every so often it's like that, isn't it? Bryce wants to Fairy's Realm. You get the super chat now. I'm trying to give the super chat away. This is a 3-mana enchant world. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses artifacts, creatures, lands, or global enchantments. All cards of that type phase out. At the beginning of each player's upkeep. It's like Fate Spinner. You choose your fate. Which is going to phase out? Which one can you live without for a turn? It's got the same vibes in my opinion. We got our career with Smokestack. Smokestack coming to smoke ya. That's not the real Smokestack art, is it? No, this is the original. 4-mana artifact. During your upkeep, you may put a soot counter on Smokestack, and during each player's upkeep, that player sacks a permanent for each soot counter on your Smokestack. Mappius says, once in a while there are these shows that people just don't quite get. I know. I mean, the weird thing is that people are like half getting it, but they're not fully getting it. So like there seems to be two problems on this show. Some people are suggesting cards that don't actually have a trigger, and the other half are suggesting cards that trigger like for all the opponents but not for yourself. So it's like they're just that close. They're so close yet so far. Next, Pale Nimbus, Luris of the Dream Den. Not a trigger to... I don't think that triggers. Luris of the Dream... I think that's just an ability you have every turn. During each of your turns, you may cast... Yeah, not a triggered ability. See, that... Like I just said, half the cards don't actually trigger. No actual trigger. Yeah, big nope. We got another nope. Who else wants to get noped? Anyone else want to get noped up here? I assume Shieldred Whispering one has been done. Nope. Not in a different nope. Shieldred Whispering. This is a 7-mana 6/6 Praetor with Swamp Walk. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, however, that player sacrifices a creature. Thank God. 100% qualifies. It has it qualifies for the show. You got an upkeep trigger for for all your opponents, but then you have a separate upkeep trigger for yourself. So doing a little something every single turn. I didn't say that the trigger had to be unanimous for each player. Benny's like, that was me. I have understood. I understood each turn, but not the trigger part. Yeah, reading the show explains the show. The show premise is in all caps, so I don't know why we're getting tripped up. Apparently, I had to put trigger in all caps. That wasn't clear enough. That was like an important detail that was missed. Archangel New, last one. Discordant Spirit. Obviously, your spirit hasn't been broken. Discordant Spirit is a 4-mana 2/2 spirit. At the beginning, at end of target opponent's turn, put a +1. What the hell does that mean? At end of target opponent's turn? Okay, I'm not going to read the ancient scripture. At the beginning of each end step, if it's an opponent's turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature for each 1 damage dealt to you this turn. At the beginning of your end step, remove all +1/+1 counters from this creature. Cool. It get big. But they have to deal damage too. So it's like an insurance policy. Tan Yushing says, what is next? People not reading that they need to submit Magic the Gathering cards? Yeah, what is this, a Yu-Gi-Oh card? What is this, Riftbound? Some of you might be playing more Riftbound than Yu-Gi-Oh at this point. Who else has no card yet? Gabrielle has no card. Oh, Yestola. Why is this card getting like a bunch of chatter about it? Yestola Knight's Blessed is a 4-mana 2/4 with Vigilance. At the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you draw a card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Yestola deals 2 damage to each opponent, and you gain 2 life. At the beginning of each end step, that's pretty good. Each end step triggers. Also, very strong card. A lot of value off of this card. April Fool's Show where we do another TCG would be funny. I thought about that many times, but I just like, I don't think there's another Scryfall for like Yu-Gi-Oh or Riftbound. I won't have them like all available at once. You know what I mean? I'll submit a non-MTG card on the custom show one of these days. That's fair game. Like that's fine. You can submit whatever you want. Hell, maybe I should just have like rating custom cards like every single day, but it's for a different game. One day Riftbound, one day Magic, one day Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'll absolutely have no idea how good or bad any of the cards are. I might have some clue in the Pokemon TCG, but not a really good clue because I'm just not involved in the game anymore. Yeah, I'll read people's Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards for like 3 hours straight if they pay me. Coffee Crew April Fools suggest cards that don't fit. Okay, next up. Tan Yushing with Oath of Druids. This is actually true. Oh, it does trigger Oath of Druids. This actually triggers every turn. I had to think about that one in my head. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than he or she does and his or her opponent. The first player may reveal cards from the top of the library until they reveal a creature card. And if they do, that player puts that card onto the battlefield and all other cards revealed this way into the graveyard. It's just that normally the Oath of Druids player is the one who has like no creatures in play, like nothing. I believe this was like created by Mark Rosewater. Mark Rosewater designed like a lot of broken cards. Mark Rosewater is the reason we have so many broken archetypes. I didn't realize he made so many broken cards. The guy is crazy. Oh my god, how long has this show been going? What, are we way over an hour? We are way over an hour. I need more music. The show is like not even close to over. Okay, we have okay, but no more freebies. But well, we have a lot of donations. Little MX Doom with Brina the Demagogue. What is this going to be? Another card I'm going to disqualify? Brina the Demagogue. This is a 3-mana 1/3 Bird Warlock with flying. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than another of your opponents, that attacking player draws a card and you put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. I don't even have any goddamn clue what I just read there. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, I could be that player on my turn. If that opponent has more life than another of your opponents, that's just weird. Okay, me as the attacking player, I get to draw a card and put some counters on a creature. Okay, so if I attack the player who has more life, but it's not me, I draw cards. Oh, but I suppose it's also referring to other players at the table. That's not you. Is it supposed to be Goad? A Goad deck? Weird card. Little MX Doom. Fun fact, Oath of Druids was going to be one-sided and 5 mana originally. Yeah, and it would have never have seen the light of day. Might not have even seen the light of day at 3 mana. That 2 mana is so important. MTG show idea. Chat can suggest any card. Ultimate free-for-all show. That is interesting. I have no idea how I make that like a title, but I have a feeling everyone would love that. You know what? I actually like I don't hate the idea. You can suggest any card. We're going to definitely do that show. Somehow I never thought of something like that. It's like show and tell. Bring whatever the hell card you want to the show. Oh, didn't Oath of Druids come out in the 90s? Yeah, it's super old card. Oh, did you get confused by like the sort of new print? Yeah, it's. I mean, that was a reprint in Tempest Remastered online. It's not even a real physical card. It's a. I mean, this. Okay, this is a. Is this reserve list? No, it's not reserve list. Feels like a reserve list card. Steve Hooper, my genius knows no bounds. The classic feeling of the coffee crew who feel so blessed to get their show suggestion created into the reality. Oath of Druids was part of a 5-card cycle. Is the one of the first cards to have a rarity color symbol in a cycle. Weird. Little MX Doom. Jingataxius. Progress Tyrant. Okay. Jingataxius is a 7-mana 5/5. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, sorcery, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Triggers only once each turn. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn. Magic the Gathering cards that trigger every turn. Okay, I will barely count this one. I will barely count it. Okay, it's like in theory, everyone can cast a card. In theory, you could cast a card every turn and copy it. Very, very, very in theory. Okay, let's go through some of these freebies. Marcio over-donated, so let's donate that to Toilet Duck. The Worry Beads. What kind of beads? Certainly not beads you stick up your butt. Worry Beads. I don't even know if she can stick them up her butt. Do mermaids have butts? The 3-mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Puts the top card. This is like the absolute most garbage mill card of all time. I'm gonna mill you very slowly, and painfully. This is the equivalent of I don't know, the evil villain in a James Bond movie. Pointing a laser at his crotch that's moving like, I don't know, 1 millimeter every 5 seconds. Gross, but fish still poop. Yeah, but I don't know where it comes from. Did we see any butt crack in The Little Mermaid? I don't remember seeing no butt crack in The Little Mermaid. I have never seen a single depiction of a mermaid where there's a butthole. Never seen it. Or at least not, it wasn't covered in like, you know, a skirt or anything like that. Christopher B says James Bond card is more like Razor Pendulum. Is that a real card? Razor Pend. Yeah, that's a James Bond post. That could be James Bond right now. After banging the Bond girl. Got caught in the act naked. You know what's interesting? James Bond has been in like over 30 movies. Not once was he like ambushed while he was naked having sex with any of the girls that he was with. Interesting. That's plot armor for you. You would think he'd get ambushed at least once. Or he's completely defenseless. No gun on him. Okay, getting back to the show. We see how many pantsless creatures in these things. Yeah, a lot of... Well, actually, she's wearing something, believe it or not. She could have a butthole. You know, now that I think about it, she's like the only merfolk with clothing on. Or very, very... maybe I shouldn't say that. There's a lot. Sorry, they usually wear like seashells and stuff. I might be just talking... Now I'm talking out of my butthole at this point. That could also be a show, cards that fit a specific theme like James Bond. That sounds like too narrow. I don't even know if everyone's seen James Bond. Pacers fan forever at Nekusar, the Mind Razor. We did that already, Pacers. Sorry about that, Pacers. I'm gonna donate your card to John. Shieldred Whispering one. Did we do that one as well? Didn't we do that like just a minute ago? Okay, well, that's not gonna work. We got this Braids Conjure Adept. Let's give it to you. Let's give that to you. Braids Conjurer. She conjures stuff. She's meddling with the board. 4 mana 2/2. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put in an artifact, creature, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. This card, it danger, especially for your health. But if you know what, if you don't put anything in play, I don't think anyone's going to attack you unless they really want to attack you to stop the rest of the chaos. It's very interesting. Wonder if she'll get a reprint. Probably not. She seems grossly unplayable. Toad says, in Goldfinger, they knocked him out in bed and the girl was covered in gold, so it did happen. Oh, you might be right. You know what? You could be right. In bed. Was he naked, though? I can't remember. They knocked him out in bed. Did they dress him afterwards? James Bond was easy to slaughter. There was a thing called a script keeping him alive. Hey, plot armor is powerful. Plot armor is way more powerful than you would think. Yeah, Little Next Doom is basically like prove that we need to have limits, or not limits. We've got to raise the donation minimum. Inflation's making $2 look too easy. Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. Bonus 2 for chat. This show's probably gonna go on until there's like no cards left. Vorinclex says trample. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced. Whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, that land doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. There's like, oh, I see. This is whenever you tap a land for mana. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is technically a trigger. It's a trigger that doesn't use the stack, as we mentioned earlier. Technically. Okay, we got Mr. Stiff Pickles over donated, so let's donate that one to Christopher B, who's been just dying to get a second card on the show somehow. Let's take Fevered Visions. Fever Visions is a 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If the player is your opponent and has 4 or more cards in hand, it'll deal 2 damage to him or her. We got Howling Mine with a little bit of pain. Art Carrera says, no way we run out. Haven't even gotten to the werewolves yet. Oh, God. What? Oh, because what? Can they, like, keep flip-flopping because of... Can they flip-flop around because of the day and night shenanigans? Day and night. Okay, what was that? That was a freebie. Now let's go back to another paid with a little MX Doom. Combat Calligrapher. I'm running out of super chat sound effects. I don't even know what I've used or haven't used now. Combat Calligrapher is a 4-mana 3/3 flyer. Inklings can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, that attacking player creates a tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying that's attacking that opponent. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents... Oh yeah, this can trigger every single turn. It's a true story. Mason. Oh, Mr. MX Doom. Little MX Doom. Oh, I technically got Razor Pendulum, but you didn't bother. Oh, I didn't know it. Ironically or coincidentally, was also qualified for the show, Christopher B. I didn't know. I just like looked at the card. I thought you were just trying to mention it. I thought you said that was like the most James Bond of James Bond cards. Next we got... Okay, that was a super chat. Steve Cooper also donated for Mappy, a Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch is a 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this enchantment unless you pay 2 life at the beginning of the end step. Destroy all untapped creatures that didn't attack this turn, except for creatures that couldn't attack at the beginning of just your end step. Disqualified. We got another. Another one bite, and another one bites the dust. Dun dun dun. And another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone. Okay, I can't sing too much. I might get copyright struck by somebody. Chaos Moon. At the beginning of each upkeep, count the number of permanents. If the number is odd, until end of turn, red creatures get +1/+1, and whenever a player taps a mountain for mana, that player adds an additional red. If the number is even, until end of turn, red creatures get -1/-1, and if a player taps a mountain for mana, that mountain produces colorless mana instead of any other type. This is a far more complicated moon card than its brother, the Blood Moon. Very, very, very complicated. Marcio super chatted. We will give it. Let's give it to Pacers, who I think has gotten several cards disqualified. Not everyone reads the rules, but you know, whatever. Has Aloro Ageless Ascetic been done? No. Aloro Ageless. We got just a guy in his chair. 6 mana for a 4/5 giant soldier called Aloro Ageless Ascetic. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. Whenever you gain life, you can pay 1. If you do, draw a card, and each opponent loses 1 life. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if Aloro Ageless Ascetic is in the command zone, you gain 2 life. This also is disqualified. God damn it! And another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Okay, David, you get the super chat. This, you know why this show is so long? I've disqualified like 25% of the suggestions. Verdant Embrace. Verdant Embrace. Verdant Embrace is an aura. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has at the beginning of each upkeep, thank God, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. For everyone that loves them tokens. Them tokens are good stuff. Lilith Doom with the last card, Shieldred the Apocalypse. Does this even qualify? Should even bust out the sound effect. Shieldred the Apocalypse. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. It works. It actually works. I don't even believe it. Yeah, they both trigger on draw. Are we just having fun ignoring the runtime? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, Benny. Maybe at this point it's a meme. Maybe at this point it's a meme, but I certainly believe that a lot of people are getting confused how the hell this show works. Yeah, this definitely technically works. Technically works. Hey, I have nothing against it. I have nothing. It's a good suggestion. It's hilarious that it's coming up at so far deep at the end of the show. Oh, Hinaria doesn't even have a card. I think we did. Didn't we do Whispering One? Isn't that around here? Where's Whispering One? I think we did Whispering One. I'm like 99% certain. Did we do this one? Now I don't remember. Just in case we didn't do this one, Swamp Walk. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and at the beginning of your of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. We did do that. Okay, I was I was 99% certain we did that. Okay, Leon Corgi, you're going to get the super chat from Marcio, another Marcio card. Marcio donated a lot today. Paradox Haze. Paradox Haze is a 3-mana aura enchant player. At the beginning of enchant player's first upkeep each turn, that player gets an additional upkeep step after this step. Actually, we disqualified this. We did get this card, and I disqualified it. We have 2 separate people that suggested this card. Actually, hold on. You had also Worry Beads. You have a second shot at this, which we also did, which qualified, though. This one did work. But we did it already. Yeah, more swings and misses. We got a lot of swings and misses. The stream is so long, we did Shieldred 3 times. There's so many Shieldreds, I can't remember them all. Okay, Some124C wants a super chat. Oh, yeah, but you get the super chat. Was it umbilicus? Was that supposed to be an umbilical cord? 4 mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may pay 2 life. If they don't, they return a permanent they control to its owner's hand. Is there another card that's like almost identical to this damn thing? I think there's another card that's like super close to this. Little MX Doom has 1 more super chat for chat. Oh, sorry. I think that was 2 super chats. I gotta look at that. I think that was 2 super chats. Yeah, 2 donos. Okay, 2 donos. Are we out of cards here? Does anyone have no 2 cards yet? Bryce wants Chains of Mephistopheles. I'm not going to interpret this card. I'm just reading it. Chains of Meth. The Chains of Meth, in my opinion. Chains of Mephistopheles, 2 mana enchantment. If a player would draw a card except the first one they draw in his or her draw step each turn, that player discards a card instead. If the player discards a card this way, he or she draws a card. If the player doesn't discard a card this way, he or she puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Doesn't this get disqualified if a player would draw a card except the first? This is not. You can't guarantee this because they can just not draw anything. I think I would disqualify this card. Let's do Wild Evocation anyway. Wild Evocation. Does Howling Mine actually work? Wild Evocation, a 6 mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, there we go. That player reveals a card at random from their hand. This is a very useless ability. If it's a land card, the player puts onto the battlefield. Oh, not so useless. Otherwise, the player casts it without paying its mana cost. It's danger. This is wild. Oh, Blood Clock is the same as Umbilicus. Howling Mine triggers each turn regardless of whose turn it is. Okay, let's take a look at this. Toads wants Howling Mine. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws an additional card. Okay, this actually does trigger. You do get the card. It does trigger. Bryce wants redemption. All right, I'll give you redemption. Does say at the beginning of each player's draw step. So I go to my draw step, I draw my card, and then Howling Mine will trigger, and I draw another card. Feels weird. Okay, Bryce. I feel sorry for Bryce. Possibility Storm. We got, this is a 5 mana enchantment. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it, then exiles cards from the top of their library. This still doesn't, there's like no guarantee that this is going to do something. And you didn't super chat, so. Can we see David Sampson's? What's David Sampson's? The show should be over already. Now I'm digging for David Sampson. Where are you, David Sampson? Or did I do you already? I don't think I did. Yes, twice. Where is this? Gotta keep trying, David Sampson. I don't know what David Sampson's card is. You know what helped me? You just tell me his card and then, you know, I give him credit. Every time they cast, it triggers. What if they don't cast anything? Won't be so smart then. Where's David Sampson? Oh, Toxrill. 7 mana, 7/7. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. And whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, you get a 1/1 black slug creature token. Born from the slime. After 2 mana, sacrifice a slug and draw a card. Well, apparently you guys like this show. That was a good one. Sort of. You also like suggesting very disqualified cards. And you can continue to do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time, and Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Maybe it's just that the evening crowd is tired. It's been a long day for everybody. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And thank you so much, my coffee crew, for being here today. People like, we got Pale Nimbus and Toilet Duck. We got Christopher B. Who else do we have? Kano, Mercenary, Benny, David Sampson, The Big Squig, Mappius, Toads, Bob Talks Bridge, Toilet Duck. Got a lot of the regulars here and everybody. So as usual, my coffee crew, you keep brewing up them coffees. We're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you at the next cup.